Hello and welcome to Boomer Podcast. Today I have with me a very special guest. A swashbuckling batsman is known for his flair in his batting, India under 19 winning captain, and the first ever player to play in the Big Bash League from India. So no prizes for guessing this one. It is none other than Unmukt Chand. Welcome on the podcast, Unmukt.
Hey, hi, nice to be here.
Yeah, Unmukt. So I'll get straight up, right? Like for every cricketer, there has always been a journey. And for you, of course, there would have been a journey towards cricket. And what was that inspiring factor to take up the sport and Mukht?
Well, like any other Indian kid growing up, started playing cricket at the age of 4, 5 at home in my colony. My parents were they loved the sport. We had a joint family that time. My uncle, my father, they used to take me to a nearby park, and we used to hit. I used to hit balls there. They used to, keep feeding me balls, and that's how it all started. And eventually, obviously, I was used to play in my society, break a few glasses here and there. So, when it started getting more and more, that's when I think they got people recommended suggestions to send me to an academy. So, I was 7 when I first went to the academy, but my coach that time they told my parents that he's too young, get him after 2 years. So, when I was 8 or 9 years old, that's when I joined an academy per se, and then that's how my sort of cricketing journey started. But I always loved playing this sport, and it sort of brings out the life in me, and like every any other Indian kid again. So that's how it all started.
We often talk about Delhi boys being a little aggressive and all, but you have always maintained that calmness in you. Was there any factor behind it? I always felt that on the field.
Well, that's my nature in a way, and obviously I have always I like such things. I was always inspired by Sachin Tendulkar, the way
Wow.
he remained. I mean, obviously his cricketing heroics are everyone,
Mm.
the whole world knows. But as a person, the way he always maintained himself, the way he carried himself, and I always think that as cricketers, you are also brand ambassadors for your country, for your
Right.
teams, wherever you're playing for. So you have to, maintain certain things, and there are so many people following us. So you should rather make the most of it in terms of sending the right messages. And I think it all starts with you personally, what you yourself believe in, and what you yourself do is what gets infected to people as well.
Hmm.
So I've always sort of maintained those things, and obviously my parents being teachers, I've always been told to do the right
Hmm.
things, and that's more of something which comes from home in a
Right.
way. And always meditation, all those things have always been part of my daily routine. So maybe through
Yeah.
that.
Maybe that's when we'll talk about the Captain Cool success story of 2012. I know you've written a book about it. Let's go to that wonderful moment for Indian cricket and Indian under 19 cricket, 2012 journey. Do you have any memories from there, any anecdotes leading into the World Cup?
Well, lots of memories. Yeah, I mean that was such a special thing for all of us, and we had 16 players from different states coming together to play as one team. We had a couple of tournaments leading up to the World Cup, and that was fascinating. That was very good, and we won all the tournaments. So obviously, that gave us a lot of confidence, and we sort of became a family. So
Right.
this really helps. I think by the time we went for the World Cup, we were so engrossed in each other's lives, and we had become a family with the coaches,
Hmm.
uh, both staff, our team. So I mean, that was it's more of a family, and that's when you want to play for each other.
Right.
So you do well for each other. So obviously that was special. We had a lot of other things. We did a lot of boot camps and camps together, normal camps together. So that was very special. And then obviously when by the time we went for the World Cup, we were all sorted. We knew what we had to do. We knew that also there was an emotional aspect to it, knowing that this is the last time we're going to play together as a team. Because
Hmm.
after that, we'll be
Yeah.
playing against each other. Maybe one or two players will play. If someone is in there in your state team, or maybe if someone is there in your IPL team, or you know, in various domestic circuits you will come across, but never as a team.
Right.
So we wanted to give it all, and that's what I've even mentioned in my book. It's right across there. I can see it. I can get it, show you a
Yeah, I
glimpse.
mean, those who haven't read it actually should get a copy of it. I've been fortunate to read that.
So because it's kind of like, so there you go.
Yes, that is the book. For the ones who haven't got a copy, it's still available on Amazon. It's still making the rounds. I just saw
Yeah.
your post a couple of days ago that you still posted about it. It's been a decade. Can you believe it? It's been a decade since that
I know, I
glorious
know,
book.
and I know. So yeah, that's the book Sky's the Limit. So we just launched it now all across the world. So it's available everywhere in Amazon. So it's, and the good thing is that 80% of the book was already done before the World Cup. So
Wow.
because I used to always write diaries. I still do,
Yeah.
and I started off with my when I always wanted to write a book, but I never knew that it's going to happen so quickly.
Right.
I knew that it was something which was a monumental thing, a World Cup, and winning the if we win the World Cup, obviously that's going to be very very special. It doesn't happen like
Hmm.
every. So I started recollecting my old diaries, getting together those pieces and sort of
Right.
forming.
Right. Right. Right.
And I mean, the belief was so strong that we are going to win the World Cup that 80% of the work I had already done, and
Hmm.
the remaining 20% was obviously since the camp onwards, leading to the World Cup. I started writing diaries regularly, knowing that every day is now something which needs to be put down on paper, because every day was so special leading up to something which was out the World Cup. So
Yeah.
the feelings are very different when you write it in hand
True.
in the present, as compared to when you think back and write what happened.
Right.
So tomorrow the finals, semifinals. What is the feeling? What's happening in the finals? After winning the
Yeah.
finals, when you were on the plane back home, riding on the flight, the feeling. So those were so raw emotions, that come out of
Yeah.
you. That was the only part which I was doing on an everyday basis. But
Yeah.
the thing to take out of this is the amount of belief we had in the group, knowing
Right.
that we're gonna win the World Cup. Otherwise, there's no point of a book, right? If you don't win the World Cup.
Right. Right. True.
So yeah.
I mean, they say everything happens for a reason, and you had a perfect build up and a great finish. But if you talk about the journey in the World Cup, it was so gripping because those were not easy victories. You had the one wicket victory over Pakistan. It was a close one against New Zealand and also the final. So, don't you think these victories, these close victories, are so underrated? Because people say comprehensive wins, people give credits to teams for comprehensive wins. But don't you think a team gels together when it's a close victory and really tests characters of the players and also the captain?
I always believe that, man. We lost the first game against West Indies.
Right, right.
We were playing against Papua New Guinea,
Yeah.
and we took it very lightly. We were like 40, 50 runs. We were like 4 or 5 down out. And then thankfully, I think we just scored some 90 runs, and we reached like 200 runs against Papua
Mm.
New Guinea.
Yeah.
And I mean, we were able to, get them out before that. But again, it was still, we made it a little tense. All the games went down like this. Even after the next game, Zimbabwe. Okay, fine. That was still decent. I
Yeah.
mean, we pulled them off in a nice way. New Zealand was again 10, 15 runs only.
Yeah.
Uh,
9 runs.
so it was 10 runs. So yeah, and so it all the games went neck and neck.
Yeah.
But, I always think that I sometimes I feel good when I lose the first match, knowing
Hmm.
that sometimes Europe. I mean, it happens mostly. I mean, it brings you down, back
Right.
on the way.
Absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
brings you down. Sometimes you get to complacent, having too many victories. Many teams go on like this. They win at a streak, and then when the main moment comes, they sort of
Yeah. True.
I
True.
think it's better to lose, have those close victories, but then when the main moment comes, that's when. So it's called peaking at the right moment, right?
Right.
So
And boy, didn't you peak? And you peaked and you scored that brilliant 100, helping India to clinch that World Cup. I mean, a lot of memories from 2012. I was a young kid watching, the moment you scored the winning runs. I remember you were using that pro bat. It reminded me of VVS Lakshman because he was the one who used the same bat as well. So, yeah, I mean, now let's go back post the 2012 World Cup. Was there always a sense of expectation that you were compared all of a sudden with Virat? and you had that. You also did a commercial with him, didn't you? And there was this comparison: Unmukt and Virat almost growing in the same place, coming from the same cricketing background, and Delhi boys winning under 19 World Cup. So was that kind of putting pressure on you in some way or the other?
No, I think I used to feel great. I mean, sometimes when people compare you to someone like who's doing well, like Virat was doing very well. I always looked up to him when he was. I saw his World Cup before mine, and obviously later on the way he played for the country. I played till 2013. He was playing for Delhi as well.
Right.
After that, he never came back to play, but before that, he was still playing. So obviously, you look up to people, and obviously, when people start comparing you with someone who's ahead of you, obviously, you sort of like it, and at the same time, you know that you got to work hard for for everything, and it's not going to become any easier. It's going to become more tougher, and you got to put in your heart and soul to sort of live up to that.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. Now let's go to that. It's always tough to talk about it, but 2016 probably would have been a tough moment for you when you were axed from the Delhi squad. I understand that you have a lot of resilience and you have got the mental strength. How did you deal with it? Because it is never easy for a cricketer when you're axed from a team where you were doing pretty well. You were the India A captain as well during that time, and you had a very good season with the bat. And also, 2 years later, you had to go to Uttarakhand. So, how was the journey there? Because it's never easy for any cricketer, isn't it?
Well, those 2 3 years were actually very tough. I said in one of the interviews that when I was actually dropped from the Delhi side, and then IPL didn't happen in a week's time, so I felt as if my clothes were ripped apart, and I was just a club cricketer left. Suddenly, from everywhere to nowhere, I was leading India before that regularly. Uh, Out of the 15 boys who were playing India under me, all of them have played for the country. All of them, not a
Right,
single one who's left. So, I mean, and getting dropped from Delhi side, I never thought that that day could ever even come. Especially when you're leading India A and doing very well there. I was getting the maximum runs almost every
right,
other
right, absolutely.
time I was playing India A. So that was very disheartening, to be very honest. And then because of that, and certain things happened which did not go my way at all.
Hmm.
It's like the curse of the gods. That things turned out to be totally opposite. I sort of I had asked for Mumbai had retained me. I had asked them to release me
Right,
because I wanted to go to a team where I get chances. Mumbai was a packed side,
right,
so
absolutely.
and then Delhi thingy happened, and then there were fake promises made to me. I left the Mumbai Indian squad, and then I didn't get picked for the IPL. So that was like very very difficult moment for me, honestly.
Right,
But
right,
I think when these difficult moments come, they also make you understand a lot of things, which sometimes you don't understand. Knowing that, I mean, the next morning I woke up again. You want to go to the ground again because
right.
that is what you love and that is what you
Hmm.
enjoy. And I realized that cricket is my love. It's fine. I mean, selections are always there, but again, even if you don't get selected, you still practice because you love the game.
So
Though it's
absolutely.
tough to sort of actually absorb it. It takes
Right,
time,
right,
but it did, and I started working hard again, and then I got back in the Delhi side that year after the fourth game. I got two fifties, consecutive 50s in the next two games I played for Delhi, but Delhi didn't qualify because they lost the first four games. And then
right,
I did the India A the next year uh, because selectors felt as because I had just played two matches.
right,
People who played more matches had got more runs
right.
in tally of runs. But again, my situation was very different that time because that is
Hmm.
the best I could have done in two matches, right? So, and then
Yeah,
these things kept on happening for the next 2 years in Delhi,
I understand that. It's never easy for a cricketer.
notorious in these aspects. So, that happened, then I had to take a decision to move places. And again, moving to a different state is never easy, to be very honest,
Absolutely,
because
yeah.
you've played for one state for so long, and you have. See, cricket is a very emotional game as well. Sometimes people say that it's only a professional sport in a way that you just go there and perform and do it. That's what people expect you to do. But at the same time, it's also emotional in a way because I feel that you perform better when
Yeah,
you are well connected to a team.
true. True.
to the team members, and it really helps you. But when that
Hmm.
doesn't happen, it's a little difficult.
Hmm.
Again, so again, and then when I was playing for Uttarakhand, I broke my foot.
No.
Freak accident. I was getting off the bus, my leg twisted, and my I broke my the metatarsal.
Wow.
I was out for 2 months, and then I missed my T20s. I came back just before the Ranji Trophy. Had no practice behind me. Didn't have a good Ranji Trophy season, and then so I mean, obviously, last 3 4 years were difficult in a lot of
Yeah.
ways. Things didn't go my way, but I think when you keep working hard, God finds a path for you,
Right.
and he was happened after that. So
Yeah. I mean, I was just coming to that
yeah,
because was pandemic a reason why you probably made that decision because red ball cricket did not happen, domestic cricket did not happen. Was US cricket or the decision to come to US, was pandemic a major reason, or was it just that you were
no,
planning for it?
I had no plans for that. 2021, I had gone back to Delhi. Again, I was there were promises made that they're gonna play me because
Hmm.
doing very well. And when I actually went in there, they did not pick me in the T20s again. When I was very instrumental in Delhi in 2019 when I played last for Delhi in the T20s, I got the maximum runs for Delhi.
Right. Right.
2018, I played the finals. I got a 50 in the finals for Delhi in the
Absolutely.
second.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
They didn't pick me, and I did not play the T20s. I did not get the IPL, and then one day came. I was not picked in the 60 for Delhi, and that was like crazy. But then I somehow got in, and then they
Hmm.
picked, and then they did not give me a single game. 20 people played. I did not get a chance, and then I knew that this is gonna happen. I mean, things are out of my control, and when you see others have team losing and then still not playing, so I mean that really sort of
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, it
it
puts you
hurts
off
you in
as
a
a
way
player.
because it hurts you because I mean you have put in your heart and soul for something and also for the state. So
Yeah.
that's when we decided that it's time to move on.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I know I can just connect the two stories because 2012 you were saying that you wanted to play for each other, and come 2021 you don't have that sense of belonging for the team, and that always affects as a cricketer. You know, if you have played cricket, if you played any sport, when you play in a team environment as a player, you want that connect, and that's something which you understand. Let's talk about some of the exciting journeys. I mean, Big Bash League. It's such a wonderful league because it's got so many new rules as well. So how was the experience playing in Melbourne? Because it can be a colossal of a stadium. It can be intimidating as well because such a huge ground, stepping in there. So how was the experience for you there?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, obviously, I didn't get a lot of games. So, Big Bash works in a sort of a little different way. It's more of it's not a franchising model. It's more of a Cricket Australia as
Mm.
premier tournament. So obviously, the focus is more on the local players
Yeah.
because that is the opportunity to sort of perform and get into the national sides. Our team didn't do very well. We lost a lot of games, and I got my chance pretty. I mean, last two games only, but. I mean, the experience was good. Enjoyed playing at the MCG. Was a dream to play there, and I really enjoyed my time at the MCG. Even fielding, it was
Yeah.
great to just run around, to dive around, and sort of feel that vibe, right? I mean, it has been a historic ground in terms of so many big matches being played there, and all the historic feats over there. And then obviously felt great batting there. I enjoyed my time in the middle, and I really wish and hope that I could have got some more opportunities there. So
Hmm.
would have been even nicer, so, but yeah, and overall it was a great experience playing in Australia, and really enjoyed the brand of cricket they play.
And before we end, I just want to know how is the cricket in US growing? Because we've heard quite a lot about a lot of players moving into US. And also the cricket in US is growing pretty well because we are seeing a couple of players come out of the US league system as well. So how was experience playing in US, the minor leagues and everything else?
US is going really good here. I mean, the here has been increasing quite a lot. There was always a lot of cricket here, but there was no structure. But now the structure is there. We have the minor leagues, which happen every year. And that's like more of a feeder system into the major league, which is going to start next year. Major
Right.
League is going to be big. That's going to be like the premier tournament of the US, like the IPL in India, the Big Bash in Australia. So like
Yeah.
that Major League will be the premier tournament in the US. So quite a lot of things happening now. We've got a good squad in terms of all the players who have come in and already the players who are already there. So
Right.
that's a good mix of players. So we're gonna have some good competition here in the near future, and then
Yeah.
things have been running really good here in terms of the investment on infrastructure is concerned, the matches are concerned, the tournaments are concerned. So things are going really big. And 2024 World Cup is also awarded to the
Yeah.
US.
Yeah.
Again, a great big step in terms of the growth of cricket in this country is concerned.
That's something great because now with US cricket, you are expecting them to grow because you have seen them with other sports, how quick they can grow and how quick they can capture the market, and expecting the same with cricket as well. Unmukt, before I leave you, if you were to give advice to a 19-year-old Unmukt right now, what would it be?
Chill, dude. Mm. See, life unfolds in its own ways, and you always try to do the right things.
Right.
I think I've always, if I look back, I don't think I would want to change anything because I worked my heart out.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
I worked really hard, and sometimes that got onto me.
Yeah.
Uh, but that is me. That is still me, and that is my nature. If
Yeah.
I love something, if I otherwise, I won't feel nice if I don't put in my heart and soul into it. So
Right.
I
Right.
feel that whatever you're doing, you should do it in the best of your capabilities.
Yeah.
And this is the only way you can sort of have success in that thing, sort of
Yeah.
become with that thing, and that applies to everything in your life. So I mean, keep doing those things and just chill out a bit more because life, you never know, man. 1 year back, I had no idea this time that I'm gonna be in the US.
Yeah.
Where I am. I mean, no, I never would have thought. I mean, changing of. I mean, I could have been anywhere in the country, but nowhere. I mean, US was never in my wildest of my dreams, right? So this
Yeah.
happened. So many things which I always thought could have come to me did not come to me.
Right.
So again, I mean, we think in certain ways, but life happens in its own ways. So I think you should just keep doing your job and just enjoy whatever God has planned for you, and you're gonna be good.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you, Unmuk, for joining the podcast. It was such a good conversation with you. Thanks for giving us the time, and hopefully, we can have you for more podcasts and reviews as well. Thank you, Unmuk. Have a good
Yeah.
time there. All the best for the future endeavors as well. And
All right.
guys, yeah, and
Thank you
guys,
so much for
follow
having me.
Unmuk. Buy his book. Yeah, don't forget that. Uh, yeah, once again, it's something which will inspire you all. So, and yeah, thank you, Unmukt. Have a good time.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye bye. Take care.